or lost sometimes when he's just a little bit too far forward or aggressive. Tomb of the Spider Queen wasn't played in the previous 3-2 score.
It's going to be a new one. Ballistics, who in this case goes for the first pick choice. Since they lost the last map, they are allowed to choose.
Now, they did play Tomb of the Spider Queen once in the tournament in the group stage, where Dignitas won it.
Yeah, that's the point. Like, this is a map that is known to be a European special, as especially our NA colleagues like to call it, because Europe has pretty much figured out how to play the map and is usually very good at making the double turn-in happen, playing around a lot with turn-in timings, sometimes allowing the turn-in, trying to make sure that you get a bit of an advantage because you are talent up, for example, makes it easier for you to defend. And Dignitas has shown also some great play on this map in particular. A game against Fnatic comes to mind where they really defended the objective over and over again, took a very aggressive position on the map and guarded both turn-in points. So this is a bit of a game changer for the two teams here. Ballistics, the banner need to see. Dignitas banning out Lucio.
Now, in the previous time they played on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Dignitas was also second pick as they picked Tomb, and they went for an Uther Genji rotation on the first slot, whereas Ballistics opened up with a Grey main.
Oh, Genji. First pick for Ballistics. SC once again.
Do you take Tyrael Grey main here? I don't think you can allow Tyrael, right? Wow, they go Uther Grey main.
Huh. I feel they're really just like so respectful of the Genji play that we see from SC that they don't want to have it paired with Uther's Divine Shield.
Yeah.
The combo is just absolutely strong. As you said, it's a tough call because you would still give Ballistics the opportunity to go for Tyrael if they want to.
You've also removed Lucio from yourself as a sound barrier counter to Dragonblade.
Yeah. Another reason why I would not give Uther up, because also one of the points is if you bring Tyrael, if Tyrael is taken by Ballistics, wave clear is starting to look a little bit grim. It can be counterplayed. So we already have Grey main on the side of Dignitas, which in terms of wave clear can be quite strong. And if now Ballistics chooses to go into Tyrael, well, first of all, we have their Malfurion again. They played him solo on the first map. He has the wave clear. They have Tyrael as well. Malfurion adds a bit to the wave clear, unless, of course, they play him with the exact same build that he was played with in Infernal Shrines.
Now, of course, Malfurion has lost Moonburn at level 1, so he loses a crucial part of wave clear at level 1. Might go for Shando's Clarity. But if you take Lunar Shower at 7, at level 7 he comes online and he suddenly starts to have good wave clear again.
Now, they took Lunar Shower on the last map as well, but that was mainly because we saw Dignitas. There was no reason to go into Strangling Vines since it was a Lucio solo heal. You could make the argument that with Dignitas picking now Uther and maybe even heading into a double support, there was more reason to go into Strangling Vines. But the wave clear aspect is something to still watch out for. Ballistics has 2 more picks and they can definitely try and mitigate that problem. Especially if they go into a Gul'dan pick again. Malfurion was paired with Gul'dan the last time they played him and had a massive, massive impact on how they were able to play it.
Leoric gets banned out here. So far, mostly only Dignitas looked at playing a lot of Leoric themselves, but he was a really big part of Ballistics' victory on Infernal Shrines, whereas Dignitas used the Nubarak on Tomb last time against Ballistics, and he will be removed. JPL sparked the beginning of their victory on Sky Temple just now with that Cocoon on SCSC's Grey main. It's
also the one-shot combo that I would be afraid of if I'm on Ballistics side. You have Grey main already, there's Uther for follow-up stun as well after Cocoon, so if a Nubarak is being played by Dignitas, it would open up a lot of win conditions for them. If they can blow Malfurion up, for example, you're immediately done there.
Color, Poix Chromie. There's no cleanse yet on Malfurion. He's good on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Do you think we're gonna see it now?
I mean, Genji puts you under a lot of pressure. Time traps can help with that a lot. Gul'dan picked by Dignitas. Okay, so instead of banning Gul'dan out, they pick it away from Ballistics. As we said before, Malfurion and Gul'dan was a composition that Ballistics used on the first map in the series.
Yeah.
And we have also Arthas. On the last map, Ballistics respected Arthas to an extent where they banned him out, but in the 2 maps previously, even though Arthas was picked, Dignitas lost with him. And those were, after we were playing on the live patch, the first 2 losses on Arthas that Dignitas suffered at the hands of an opponent. They had a 100% win ratio on him when they headed into the series. So they still believe in Arthas' ability on this map. He also adds wave clear, so does Grey main. Gul'dan has it too.
So it's possible that Dignitas will try to prevent Genji from getting too much sway on the map by doing massive wave clearing rotations. Greymane, Arthas and Gul'dan, their hopes are to prevent Ballistics to really get a grip on the map by having superior wave clear. And now by taking away Gul'dan, they've done a great job to make that more viable. Ballistics. Will they run solo support Malfurion again, and will they go mage again?
Muradin and Li Ming.
Very low on the wave clear, actually.
Yeah, extremely low on the wave clear.
Extremely low. Li Ming has decent wave clear, provided she can position on the flank to minion waves and land an arcane orb from the side. But it exposes her a little bit more. Muradin's wave clear is outright trash. Tyrael, not great wave clear, but does empower his own waves with shield. Malfurion gets good wave clear at 7. And Genji, although he gets used for laning a lot, does have slow wave clear. The plus side is he's safe. Whenever he deep lane clears, he can just use E to get away. So it's a bonus for late game side soak, but it's not very good for these quick rotations.
I mean, they need to get kills with this. They need to make quick rotations outside of clearing the wave and just try and get a kill early on.
And they can do it. If they jump in, get the bolt into the entangle with the Genji, Li Ming double reset, it's a very potent kill comp.
But if you compare the wave clears on the two teams, it's not even a contest.
Complete mismatch.
Greymane, Arthas, Gul'dan already alone are going to do a whole lot, and we see Garrosh with this.
Wow, interesting.
Which is definitely a very interesting pick that I not necessarily expected here to see.
Yeah.
Because Tyrael can jump out, Genji is not gonna... That's actually a really interesting pick.
So, the cool thing about Garrosh on this map, whenever any of the warriors of Ballistics picks up gems, they go to a predictable location. If Garrosh uses his flip first, E, not Q first, you can flip them over your shoulder into your own team. And then when they jump away, you use your Q to pull them back in once more for some additional damage. One of the best battlegrounds of Garrosh. We saw Roll20 use Garrosh really well here.
Dignitas used it here too against Fnatic in the series they played in the group stage. And they did well with him.
And now you have Hammer of Justice from Uther, you've got Silence from Gul'dan, and you've got the Taunt Warlord's Challenge from Garrosh as well. All to put additional pressure on Genji, who does not have Cleanse or Burst Protection available from his support. Now, I've said before that Dignitas had a better draft than Ballistics, and Ballistics won it anyway, so we must keep in mind the execution of this very novel solo support Malf that is suddenly making an emergence in this late stage of the tournament. But Dignitas seems to have all the tools they need in order to make this a 2-2.
Yeah, Garrosh still throws me off a little bit. You are absolutely right.
That's his role.
Okay, I walked into that. I mean,
go on.
that setup was way too good. No, the one reason is you are absolutely right. It's a great map for him, but I would have just expected them to maybe even go even more on the wave clear, have a solo laner that can take the waves easily, and then just simply outplay their opponent on that end. Make quick rotations, clear the waves, push Ballistics into a very passive position where they just have no other choice than sitting passive at the towers and try to take the wave, or they will lose out on experience. Because right now, I feel I mean, Ballistics has to really go deep and try and find these kills, and I think, I don't know, Garrosh might just be the hero to also buy you the time and buy you the space that you need. Every single time that someone goes in, you keep Garrosh close to the team.
You get some reverse kill pressure.
Exactly, he throws them out, you know, and makes sure that you stay a little bit safer. So there's a lot of ways that you could utilize him here now.
Can Dignitas use Garrosh to throw off Ballistics a little? Or will Ballistics find their mark? Get the hero kills they need in order to...
Come on, keep it going, come on. You're on a roll here.
In order to oust Dignitas on this European map here on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
You're a poet. SD on Li Ming, SC on Genji. We have Jonga this time on Tyrael. Hooligan on Muradin. You switched those before, and Magi is now playing on Malfurion. Again, the Malfurion solo support for Ballistics.
We're gonna have Wooby on Arthas on the side lane, JPL on Garrosh, Snitch on Greymane, Poik on Gul'dan, and Zelia on Uther.
2-1 in Ballistics' favor. The last best of 5 between the two teams ended with a 3-2 victory of Ballistics. Dignitas, they need to win 2 in a row if they want to advance to face KSV Black in the grand final. And Ballistics, of course, is eager to make sure that they can defend their title here. Already, we have a couple of viewers sitting on the stones here as we're heading into map number 4. Shadows Clarity on 1 once again.
Yeah, we see a lot of damage talents coming out of Ballistics there, power hungry, not getting that force armor to deal with Gilnean Cocktail or Gul'dan. Zelia switches up his build on Uther. On Dragonshire, where he had some positioning mishaps, he had the Holy Shock build to do with Tracer. Now going for more mana sustain and more cooldown reduction on his heals, presumably taking more wave clear at level 4 with the Holy Fire. The true support build now.
Dignitas chose the map. Ballistics got their first pick, and they now have a composition where they can again rely on SC's Genji, and they also have Tyrael in their setup, which they highly prefer. And now the question, of course, is can Dignitas run the map objective? So much better that they can pressure Ballistics here. Wooby already in a very aggressive spot, trying to go for a lockdown here. Besides that, he doesn't get the position. No one on the side of Ballistics overextends enough so that he can capitalize on it. And we now have the rotation starting to kick in. All the way at the bot lane. SC is, of course, going to be the one who's... Ooh, there's the first throw.
That's the move. You flip in the tank and you pull them back in once more with Q. If the lockdown from Zelia or Wooby was there, Hooligan would have died. He barely survives. Yeah. But that is the play that we're going to see more and more from Dignitas. And that's why, on Tomb of the Spider Queen, where you must pick up the gems from the web weavers on the back lane minions, that's why Garrosh is extra good here.
I'm actually amazed that Dignitas did not go for it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I like it, that they were just saying, okay guys, if you get the early kill, what does it really give you? Very little. If you, on the other hand, get chased down then afterwards and you lose 1 or 2 heroes, then it might backfire massively.
Yeah. Especially against a team like this.
Yes.
Like what they did there, they can do it again. But if they lose out, get early killed by Genji Liming, maybe it keeps happening.
Exactly. You would provide resets after the first one dies. Maybe it snowballs a little bit against you. So I think it was a really cool attempt by them. But I'm more impressed by them making the call to just say, let's go back. If you have a target this far down, it's really difficult to say, okay, let's let him go.
Now Ballistics is trying to get Poik. Doesn't look like he will overextend. You must have the Boogeyman paranoia complex. Anytime you think opponents are missing from the map, imagine that the Boogeymen are in that brush. The maximum amount of players. JPL... That's actually a common Garrosh mistake. You pull someone in at max range, and then you take one step back to do maximum E displacement. But he was out of range of the Muradin flip.
Hooligan so far playing that fairly safe. Anchoring here a lot, and especially Magi needs to watch his positioning, because there are a lot of very mobile heroes on the side of Ballistics that can escape once that Garrosh gets his pull. But if you hit Malfurion, then it's more or less lights out. Now him going also for Loon's Grace now on level 4 is once again going to allow him to stay a little bit safer in the back here and fire away with his abilities. Really important if you want to follow up with a Root on a Muradin stun, but also of course with a Moonfire then later on. Hooligan still fine so far, but Dignitas get a few turns here. First 10 gems on their side, 14 that we have for Ballistics by now. Ballistics getting aggressive heavily against Zelia, who walks away. Just barely up at the top. Yeah,
Zelia using the minion wave to block potential storm bolts. Interesting to note that JPL flipped away Muradin, and this was to allow Poik to turn in the 10 gems that he had. Hammer of Justice follow up, and JPL still has the pull, but he doesn't walk forward enough.
Yeah, Hooligan is able to walk out of this one. So right now we're already seeing that Dignitas is trying to create as many opportunities as they possibly can with Garrosh and making sure that they use him. We have the wave clear coming to play for sure. Good turn-ins also from Dignitas, especially the bot lane could make that happen. SC gets thrown once but can immediately swift strike out, also outside of the range of JPL after he escapes. This is such a close one. I mean, like, this is so insane. 2-0 lead for Ballistics at the start, and then Dignitas really with a nice comeback on the third map, thanks to the 2 kills that we saw. And that's the situation we talked about earlier. There is no way he escapes. Exactly the problem. Magi is the weakest link in this setup. If he gets flipped, he's dead, and it leads potentially to a second kill, and indeed it does. Both are down. Greymane and Malfurion.
Great lockdown there by Wooby on the Howling Blast. Yeah, the Genji, the Malfurion. Malfurion never able to get away from a flip like that. Maybe at level 13 or 10 with Twilight Dream, Ice Block, what have you. But for now, he gets taken out, riskily rotated, and Dignitas taking control of that. And why can you be on the left side of the map as Garrosh? It's because you have the better wave clear. You've got the vision, Ballistics doesn't have it, and you can stand there unspotted. JPL making use of the vision there and flipping Malf. Now Dignitas gets the first turn in.
Yeah, and right now the big problem I see is that we said early on Ballistics needs to be the one that pressures kills because they are lacking the wave clear. Now they already lost 2 heroes, they are losing the wave clear battle, they lost the objective, they are already nearly a level behind. This is exactly the game that Europe wants to play, that Dignitas wants to play. It doesn't get any better than this. This is absolutely the comfort zone of Dignitas, and I'm very interested to see how Ballistics means to turn this around, because right now I think Dignitas is just going to do an old shoot and try it standard, trying to get the double turn in, and I don't see any argument why they shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, they're getting quite a much out of their first Webweaver phase already. Normally teams like to have something like a Ragnaros to deep push very strongly against this kind of thing. Triple wall, I think, pretty much. Bit of damage on the mid fort. Not altogether too much, and Dignitas still needs 24 gems in order to turn in, whereas Ballistics has enough. But Dignitas will be sharking around to interrupt the turn-ins.
Yeah, that's exactly what Dignitas is going to look for now. Try and interrupt the turn-ins, make sure that Ballistics doesn't get a Webweaver wave by themselves, soak the experience towards level 10, and then as you are around level 10, you will have enough gems for the second turn-in. You try to combine the two, and if that happens, then Ballistics is going to be in for a very rough ride, because it would just work out so that the Dignitas can combo off the level 10 advantage with a second Webweaver wave. Ballistics would not have heroic abilities, and they need to do something, and that's what they're trying to do right now with a potential kill against Snitch, and they're going in, they're going deep for him. Greyman is low, and he falls. Ballistics with a play they need to make, and ideally they would even get more kills here.
I really want to compliment Ballistics on the degree to which they punish Snitch. As soon as he went forward that much, I thought that's a problem. And Ballistics saw the exact same thing. They went in, they confirmed the kill with a perfect Stormbolt and Root. Flipping in Hooligan here. He doesn't have Dwarf Toss, but Zelia goes down. And Hooligan...
Oh, Poik might be in a lot of trouble here, but he still gets healed by the Uther Ghost, the saving grace. But I love what Ballistics is doing right now. We just called it out. If Dignitas gets the 10 and the turn in, there's hell to pay. And Ballistics realize it. I think it's the main reason why, as you said, they were more aggressive as you expected, because it could have backfired. But it worked out because of their high level of execution. And if they don't do that, if they don't get these 2 kills, I think they straight up lose the game once Dignitas hits 10 in the turn-in.
I think so too. It could be lights out right away. Warlord's challenge here on Genji.
Perfect.
JPL. Getting a kill as the Webweavers are about to spawn is the very best counter strategy on Tomb of the Spider Queen. We've seen many teams waiting for Webweavers, gently scouting out brushes here and there, only for the defensive team to force a big engage on the other team. A great job to de-escalate this situation. And this is going to be a much reduced Webweaver phase. In fact, it's terrible for Ballistics. Yeah, that death.
They don't really get anything out of it. They get a few structures, towers, nothing really too crazy to close the gap in experience completely. Now, the bottom Webweaver is still doing a fair amount of damage, but overall, that phase did not as much as they were hoping for because of Genji falling. Then again, we still have, at this point, 37 gems on the side of Dignitas. They have a turn-in available once they commit to it. They have a half-level lead. We're seeing 62 gems for Ballistics, so that's also potential turn-in for them. Depends now highly on who gets the next turn-in here. And already with the attempt to turn in, Jongha and Tyrael in position, but gets interrupted several times as Dignitas is isolating him, or is like finding him on the map and start to move in for it.
And Dignitas already feels a lot stronger than the first 2 maps. Ballistics is starting to flounder a little bit. Hooligan uses the Dwarf Toss, gets away. Big entangle there. Liming gets a lot of damage, but they go for Tyrael. They blow him up with the silence. Sanctification cannot come out.
Counter kill.
Dignitas gets the first kill. SCSC is looking for blood.
Yeah, and he nearly killed Arthas, but JPL threw Arthas back and saved him. Now Hooligan is in trouble.
20 gems?
20 gems on him, and he dies. Dignitas making the plays right now, and JPL in particular. Great play by him. First, he saves Wooby on Arthas. He would have been a guaranteed kill against him as Genji went for him. But after he saves Arthas, he also has the play against Muradin. Puts the pressure onto Hooligan, and they get a kill of it. This could have backfired so hard for Dignitas. They could have lost several heroes there. Instead, they walk away, killing Muradin too. Great play here on Dignitas' side.
Yeah, cannot stress enough how close that was. If Ballistics' team, they have the kind of team, if they get 1 kill, they will get more because of that power of Li Ming. And this was such a close affair there. Nice toss there on Muradin, finished him off as well. Gotta compliment SCSC though. He took those gems that Muradin lost and he got away with them. So it's not as bad for Ballistics as it could have been.
Well, it's getting bad now.
Oh, they're ensanked, but they're not safe.
Yeah, Sankt is there,
SDE.
but we have SDE on the run. Snitch gets thrown in actually and goes for the kill. Now we have everyone else just running away, and in the meantime, the Web Weavers are getting value for Dignitas. They have the level 13 talent advantage. Jonga is still dashing around, is barely able to escape. JPL is invading deep, looking for a throw. And in the meantime, we have the Web Weaver at the bot lane, going for the fourth. Top lane is going to fall. Dignitas is building up so much momentum here.
And SDE only Ming lost 33 gems. And might I add, I've never seen a team look so scared while they're in the middle of a very safe sanctification, just because there were boogeymen on all sides. The flip on Maggie! And he gets taken out, but the turnaround, Dragon Blade, point goes down. Arthur's very low, can he heal up?
Oh my god, SC goes in and he kills everybody.
Wow, 4 members killed here. Heroics not even able to be used.
I mean, Snitch survives for a long time, so he gets a couple of brownie points for the escape here, and buying some time. But that was an insane fight for Ballistics. That was the fight that just brought them back into the game. Without that happening, I would have not seen a chance in the world for them to make this comeback. Just look at it. Magi with a silence as he gets blown up, and then Hooligan flanks as C pops the Dragon Blade, and they obliterate everybody.
Are we in a jazz nightclub right now? Because there's a lot of swinging going on here as Ballistics takes back the lead. Maybe not in terms of the experience yet, but they get the boss.
Okay, honestly, since when did you want to put that one line in? How long have you waited?
3 seconds. 3 seconds.
That's how fast I could have seen you prepare that for like a week and never getting the opportunity, and it was like, nah, finally.
Got it in.
Got it.
So the initiation there,
Thank you.
The initiation there for Ballistics to start this big comeback fight was, ironically, JPL flipping in a Malfurion with the Twilight Dream. Had he flipped him in and done the follow-up Silence Warlord challenge, that could have been okay. But with the Twilight Dream coming out, everything turned to ashes for Dignitas, and they lost all 5 members. Lost the boss. They let the boss go because they wanted to prevent the turn-in. Very interesting decision, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a very early boss, and he doesn't even get the fort at the top lane. The problem is really that we now have a situation in which Dignitas might still be ahead in experience. But if you look at all the structures that are still on the map for Dignitas, if Ballistics gets just a little bit more momentum, they will walk away with a massive experience lead. Since all
pocket experience in the forts,
exactly,
right?
All the forts are still there. And so they need to do very little to get that advantage. All they need to do is get the turn in, not lose someone moving, and they got the turn in. So now, wait, Dignitas has 16. So Ballistics needs to be very careful, because this is one of those moments where you need to be extremely cautious. That Web Weaver wave can be either ideal for Ballistics, or it can turn out that they just wasted a fair amount of gems. Dignitas is pushing up immediately, because they know fighting right now would be ideal for them. So Ballistics plays this a bit safe, they're going to wait a little bit, but once 16 hits, they're going to be heavily engaged. The question is, how much defense can Dignitas muster up to that point? Yeah,
and as much as Dignitas didn't get a full-blown teamfight prior to Web Weaver, which, as you say, absolutely would be the play for Dignitas, they tried and failed because Ballistics had vision thanks to Bruiser, and then they were able to actually pull back. Dignitas can still use their level 16 to take out 1.5 Web Weavers prior to contesting.
So at this point, we have the top wave also defeated. At the bottom, the fort falls on the other hand. Ballistics nearly closing the gap in experience. Not quite yet, but we are getting closer, especially since they now take down the towers in the mid lane as well. Bottom fort is so low that it will eventually fall. They can poke it down whenever they want to. And right now, Ballistics is looking way stronger than they ever have in this game. Dignitas looked twice as if they could walk away with a massive, massive snowball here. Once just as level 10 was about to hit, and once when we saw that massive push in the mid lane, and a great fight, of course, with JPL also at the bot lane, allowing them to kill 2. But right now, lead in experience goes to Ballistics.
And very deftly done by them. The way that they played it safe and actually used the residual Wooby wave clear at the bottom to use all 5 to push out the remainder of the top fort is definitely well done. That Web Weaver phase looked like it was not going to be that effective since 1.5 Weavers got cleared up quickly, but they still get 2 forts out of it.
Yeah, and we still they still have the majority of gems also. It's 44 against 39, very close at this point. Yeah. Both teams had 2 objectives for themselves.
It's almost dead even.
Yeah, it's levels, extremely even right now.
Takedowns, gem count.
There's 1 additional fort on the map for Dignitas, and that's basically the only difference here. Even in the kills, they are identical. It's 7 kills on each side.
Wooby is going to be a focus target for Ballistics as they jump in. Keep in mind, Murden has the bonus jumping range. Ballistics are now going to turn in the lion's share of their gems. Dignitas knows where they are for that reason.
Yeah, lockdown attempt here, gets the flip, but it's against Tyrael. Nice, Warlord's challenge is there, but he doesn't get the sanctification off, and down goes Tyrael. Once again, they're on the run.
Wow,
here comes the
lockdown
against 2. Margie is running away, but running away from Arthur's never really a great thing. Here comes the silence once again. Do they get the kill? JPL is kept alive, and with a Dragon Blade, SC is attempting to turn the tides, but it is too little too late. Hooligan even in trouble here, trying to get away, but here comes Horrify.
Great Horrify there, putting a lot of extra damage on Murden. The Howling Blast is perfect! Wooby is playing out of his mind with 2 very crucial Howling Blasts. And of course that fantastic initiation on Tyrael, leading to more and more kills. Dignitas get enough gems from those kills to turn in.
The one thing that surprised me a little bit, and maybe you can, I feel I'm missing something, because we had now 2 times JPL initiating extremely well, getting the flip on Tyrael though, and then going for the Warlord's challenge. But after it's over, Tyrael still doesn't go for his sanctification.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's happened twice now.
Maybe
so
he doesn't want to solo Sanct?
The first time, the thing is, the team is moving in with him at that point already, trying to save him and moving into the area.
Yeah.
And they allowed him to die twice now. The
I
first
saw
time
that too. Maybe we're missing something. We don't want to be too critical here, but it looked like he stood for a second.
Exactly. The first time I thought it was because he got interrupted.
Right.
But the cooldown never triggered.
Correct.
And it happened 2 times now. So I'm just sitting there, I'm like, you could have, I feel you could have sanked it. Warlord's challenge stopped, and it was another second or more until you died.
It's perfectly possible that in the playbook of Ballistics, they have come to a conclusion after countless of practice games that they said, never solo sanked. We don't have the team to follow up on it. Malf cannot walk into it from that far. We save it for the team fight, and we do a big 5-man wipe with it. Maybe. Maybe.
They gave up another objective, and now Dignitas is again a level ahead. And this is a tough one, because the experience that is now gained by Dignitas will help them to reach level 20. Ballistics is back with 5 on the map, and they're forcing the fight before 20 hits. Immediately JPL throwing them out again. A massive move against SC here. Gul'dan with all the damage. Oh my god, that nearly solo killed him, just as he also finishes his corruption quest on level 1.
Cool plays by Jonga though, threatening Holy Ground from behind. He very nearly locked down Gul'dan. Gul'dan was the target, but Poik answered in kind. They got a massive corruption on Genji. Now, Dignitas, with their job well done, return home in a successful campaign, level 20. They've got to keep down additional pressure at the bottom, and Dignitas can now pressure boss. It's probably the only play they have. If they don't pressure boss,
it's the only play they need.
Yeah, it's the only play they need, but they also must do it. If they don't do it, they don't have enough gems to turn in, and they will give away level 20 for free to Ballistics. Ballistics can turn in. So Dignitas force a boss fight. Everything is going to come down to this. Ballistics' goal is to buy as much time as they can without absolutely letting it come to a full-blown boss fight.
The problem is if Dignitas gets the boss, it's over.
Yeah, but they're taking a lot of damage here.
Yeah, 20 plus boss would be a disaster. The problem really is Tyrael. Tyrael is the big game changer here. Holy Ground and a Sanctification. If you can time that properly, and Hooligan is just providing vision here, they want the boss to leech. And time is working in their favor now. Well, in the sense that they can get to 20.
And when the boss walks back 3 times, it instantly regenerates all health instead of a slow regeneration. That was number 3. 3 strikes is out, as everyone knows. So Dignitas has a full boss, and they can no longer take it.
The good thing for Ballistics is that the top keep was taken out. If it's the bottom keep, then they are on a timer whenever the boss is threatened. But now they can clear the wave whenever the catapults are pushing into the top lane. So that works out in their favor. Dignitas is threatening again. They know very well what's happening here. SC is getting a bit pressured by Wooby, but still, as long as they keep Tyrael close enough so that he can jump in, drop Sanctification, allow his team to fight for the boss, they are in a spot where they could take it. He goes in a little bit early, actually.
On Maggie. Great target by Wooby. Army of the Dead is on. He pressures Maggie. And Tyrael goes down. No Sanctification again, but look at this!
Oh, the explosion takes down Uther, but he still has redemption. Can SC get a kill? It doesn't look likely. He's falling! There's the kill right away. Great play by Poik. Gets it with Gul'dan. Dignitas is low, but it doesn't matter. They're still alive. They get Hooligan back in again. Leeming, SDE trying to do what he can from a distance. And Dignitas goes for the safe play. They don't go for core. They turn back to the boss and will end with the boss taken.
There is a tiny chance that Ballistics comes in here, uses Malfury on Astral Communion, silence, Li Ming goes in and gets kill after kill. There is zero chance that that will happen now. But they should have tried, no? There's no way you can defend this boss now, right?
I don't think you can, no.
I think you had to go in 2v5.
They will have Tyrael, they have Holy Arena. Genji is going to be back in time, but I personally don't see... Not with Gul'dan, especially. Gul'dan and Greymane.
Yeah. And I want to see Genji pick something else than Dragon becomes me, because it will not come back. Yesterday, when SE lost with Genji against KSV, he picked a meaningless talent on Towers of Doom against KSV. I want to see him take something else,
yes,
but here we go, Astral Communion!
They're going for it. Tyrael drops it, the Holy Arena, there it is, but Gul'dan fires away. Warlord's challenge, Li Ming is down. This has to be the end. Ballistics loses the core, they lose their 8 points there. Greymane is moving in, he's falling, but it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. The boss alone is going to end this. Once again, Dignitas versus Ballistic is going to a 5th map.
Insane game here, so much swings either side as Dignitas finally forces the boss. And it's a threat. They don't really want a boss contest. You mentioned it. Holy Ground, Sanctification is an insane threat to deal with. Yeah. Despite having the tools of Divine Shield, Horrify, and of course Garrosh's pool combination to try and get Tyrael away, the risk is too big. Wooby, absolute MVP for me here in this game. The way that he completely isolated himself